Friday forecast time, 6th-ranked Oklahoma takes on Mickey Joseph and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Sean, let's talk Mickey. You met the media on Tuesday. How do you think this team will look different? Will it look different than we've seen in weeks past?
I think you'll see maybe a looser bunch. That's just my feel. I mean, Mickey, the players, I think will react to him a little bit differently. When Coach Frost was here, there's a lot of pressure on him. Sometimes you got the sense they coached and they played a little tight with that pressure. Now that pressure is gone, I expect Nebraska and the players and the coaches to coach and play a little bit looser just under these circumstances.
Tough week for the players. Mickey Joseph said his number one priority when we talked to him on Tuesday was about the players. Do you think that they will react positively to this change?
I think so. Change is never easy, but Mickey, of all the coaches, especially for a new guy, has as great of relationships in that locker room with for any of the guys. The players love him. They love just the way he goes about business, and he's very frank with guys, open and honest. He tells a guy what he needs to hear if they don't want to hear it even. And I'll go back like Omar Manning. Omar Manning was missing too many practices for whatever reasons, and he said it was great that Omar practiced 2 days in a row. He's not afraid to say things like that. Now, will that change as a head coach? Maybe, but I just think within the walls, he'll say what needs to be said to guys, and I think guys will listen.
We will see what happens. Oklahoma comes into town. They're 2-0, 2 blowout wins, but maybe that win against Tulsa wasn't as big of a blowout as the final score indicates. They won 33-3, but that game was much tighter than that score.
Yeah, that was a really close game in the first half. Reminds you a little bit of Nebraska's North Dakota game. I mean, just how slow things got off the ground. There were a little bit of chirps and boos in the first half about the offense. So Oklahoma, they're number 6, Andy, and they've got material. They got good coaches, but are they really the number 6 ranked team? And that's what we'll find out. I mean, we know Nebraska's 1-2. You are what your record is, but Nebraska's still been in every game. Will the one-score trends continue? Because nobody blows Nebraska out, and the spread is more than 1 score, which is really telling, because we know the history of Nebraska in one-score games.
Yeah, Oklahoma is led by Dylan Gabriel. He completes about 71% of his passes, 529 yards, 5 touchdowns, and they've got a couple of good running backs in Eric Gray and Marcus Major. But I do want to ask about the rivalry. Mickey Joseph being at the podium was kind of unique because he has such a rich history and talks so glowingly about the rivalry. How big of a deal is this, having the Sooners come to Lincoln?
Well, yeah, and he's a big piece of the rivalry. He was injured in a game in Norman. I mean, he got tackled and pushed into a bench and sliced up his leg, and had to leave the game at that point. He was done.
Changed his career, really.
Changed his career that day in Norman, and I'm staring at a bench on the Nebraska sideline right now. He basically just gashed his leg open, I believe, on the bench, and was done at that point. So, there's a lot of history. I think this game means a lot to him as much as it would have meant to Coach Frost. I mean, they both had their own history with Oklahoma, but I do think this adds a little flavor with the changes, and now Mickey Joseph. If Frost was still coaching this week, I think it would have been really hard to kind of operate seriously. After 642 yards, we're just giving up on this field against Georgia Southern, the most yards ever allowed in Memorial Stadium history. So I think a fresh start is going to be good for a week like this.
Oklahoma and Nebraska, 88th meeting between these two teams. What do you expect to see on Saturday out of Nebraska?
This offense can put up points and yards. I believe that. The problem is they're putting up 492 a game. They're giving up 492 a game.
Right.
I mean, I think it's literally a dead heat on those numbers, 492. So can they stop Oklahoma? They're just getting destroyed on pre-snap read, it feels like. When teams do the look-at-me stuff, they're finding the soft spots and reads in Nebraska's defense before the play, and they're just getting torched. Can they address that? Can they get it fixed? Nebraska can put up 35 points on almost anybody, but can they hold somebody under that? That's the better question.
Oklahoma makes its first trip to Lincoln, Nebraska since 2009. Oklahoma leads the series with 46 wins. We'll see what happens Saturday when Nebraska and 6th-ranked Oklahoma square off. It's an 11 o'clock kick. It's the big game on Fox.